So the topic for today's session is anesthesia for Parkinsonism. Before we begin, there's a diagram on your right-hand side which shows a man afflicted with Parkinsonism with some characteristic features like mask-like face, Parkinsonian gait, slowed movement of the limbs, reduced arm swing in comparison to normal swing, a certain kind of rigidity in the body, postural instability, maybe due to autonomic dysfunction, and shuffling gait or shuffling steps, along with the characteristic asymmetric resting tremors. So, whenever you come across this constellation of symptoms, you should raise an alarm in your mind that this person is suffering from Parkinsonism. He must be having many other comorbidities in view of old age. And whenever he is posted for anesthesia, what considerations we must keep in mind while administering general or regional anesthesia for the same. So Parkinsonism disease, it is a neurological disease involving the extrapyramidal system with prevalence of around 1% in patients over the age of 65 years. So idiopathic Parkinsonism disease is due to loss of dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra, causing an imbalance of the acetylcholine and dopamine. So these two essential hormones which interplay to keep the balance and other systems in place, that is acetylcholine and dopamine. Whenever there is an imbalance of them, there is Parkinsonism. So 80% of neurons are lost before the syndrome is clinically apparent. So the neurological insult starts and it is much more vicious. So thus Parkinsonism, it will present at old age in patients over 65 years. So not necessarily that it will be an isolated disease. Along with it, the patient will be presenting to you with uncontrolled hypertension, diabetes, ischemic heart disease, stroke, and arrhythmias as well. So not just Parkinsonism, we should be well versed in treating all these conditions as well. So the etiology of Parkinson's can be idiopathic, but there's a terminology called Parkinsonism where the clinical conditions, they will resemble the idiopathic Parkinson's disease, and the etiology of Parkinsonism can be due to the following factors. There can be some idiopathic drugs which block the dopamine receptors, like the phenothiazines, butyrophenones, and metoclopramide, which is commonly used as an anti-emetic agent or a prokinetic drug. These can cause Parkinsonism. Next are the drugs which affect the dopamine synthesis, their storage or release, that is reserpine. They can also produce the same effect. If the patient is suffering from infarction, either post-encephalitis or due to some immunodeficiency syndromes, it can mimic Parkinsonism. Again, arteriosclerosis and multi-infarct diseases is another cause. Any tumor or trauma or toxicity, that is Wilson's disease, heavy metals, and carbon monoxide poisoning, all these causes can lead to Parkinsonism. So we must, in our differential diagnosis, keep in mind these host of factors also. So when we discuss about Parkinsonism, which anatomical part of the human brain is afflicted? That is the basal ganglion, which is responsible for all these minor functions. So when patients they present for surgery, they present along with other comorbidities as well. And patients who are presenting for the treatment of Parkinsonism, there is a procedure called deep brain stimulation insertion along with its battery placement. It is the surgical intervention for refractory Parkinson disease. These patients, when they present to you for surgery, they are at an increased risk of perioperative medical and surgical complications. So there are two types of surgical aspects here. One is patient is being posted for Parkinson's disease treatment primarily. And the second is patients posted for any other surgeries like an appendix or hernia under general anesthesia, but they are suffering from Parkinsonism and they are on multiple anti-Parkinsonism drugs. So this disease is characterized typically by a combination of motor features, which include bradykinesia, rigidity, and a resting tremor, also known as the pill rolling tremor, where the patient rolls the fingers of his hands in a pill rolling fashion. In addition to these motor features, a range of non-motor symptoms like the autonomic dysfunction and cognitive impairment, they may precede the motor syndrome as well. So we have to take care of these motor symptoms and a range of non-motor symptoms as well. So the main process causing Parkinson's disease is the loss of dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra of the basal ganglia. And the underlying pathology here is a combination of alpha-synuclein accumulation in the Lewy bodies and neurons, dysmorphic.
So just a sec, Wi-Fi connection, there is a problem.
Okay. So the underlying pathology in Parkinsonism, it is a combination of alpha-synuclein accumulation in Lewy bodies and neurons, dysmorphic organelles, mitochondrial dysfunction, altered synaptic and vesicular transport, and neuroinflammation. So ultimately, all these pathologies and Lewy body accumulation will lead to neuroinflammation and neurodegeneration. And 80% of the neurons will be lost before clinical features start to reappear again. So when we are thinking of perioperative risks involved, what kind of perioperative risks we are talking about? So the most common post-operative complications in a person afflicted with Parkinsonism posted for either regional or general anesthesia may be pulmonary aspiration, urinary tract infection, wound infection. Next is respiratory insufficiency due to muscular fatigue, hypotension due to autonomic disturbances, and delirium related pressure sores. So all these are post-operative complications. And why the underlying reasons for the increased complication rate, they are multifactorial and they include exacerbation of Parkinsonism related motor and non-motor symptoms. So in motor symptoms, we have discussed bradykinesia, rigidity and tremors, and non-motor symptoms including autonomic dysfunction. So there can be bulbar problems which lead to pulmonary aspiration and respiratory insufficiency. Immobility and falls may lead to further fractures. The patient is already on a multitude of pharmacological agents and its interaction with the anesthesia agents will increase the risk. And the patient being old age might also be suffering from other undiagnosed comorbidities. So all these are the perioperative risks that are involved. So when we think of Parkinsonism and its gait, which is a characteristic feature, the patient may have a slightly flexed posture. If the patient is asked to stand with their eyes shut and the examiner perturbs their equilibrium by a gentle push, either backwards or forwards, ensuring that the patient does not fall and hurt themselves, the patient may take several steps either backwards, that is retropulsion, or forwards, propulsion, before regaining their balance. This is because the postural reflexes are abnormal in Parkinsonism disease. So about 80% of patients with Parkinsonism disease experience gait hypokinesia at some stage of the disease. So why this is important in the pre-op assessment of the patient, you can, if it is a controlled Parkinsonism, you can check the gait of the patient. So gait initiation failure and freezing are common. If initiation of gait is impaired, the patient may lean forward to start moving. So he is at an increased risk of fractures while being mobile. And this gait comprises of small steps which may become more rapid, also known as fascination, and there may be reduced arm swing in comparison to the normal arm swing. So the lack of arm swing